Hey guys, here in my garage, just got this brand new toaster oven, but you know what I like more than toaster ovens? Plastic. So today I'm going to be showing you how I melt this plastic. So here are the two main types of plastic you're going to be working with. This right here, this is high density polyethylene. This is a milk bottle, or a portion of a milk bottle, and a Hershey's syrup bottle, you know, a piece of it in there for a little added touch of color. This is low density polyethylene. Well, at least I think it is. I didn't know, it didn't say exactly what type of plastic it was on it, so I just set the temperature down to low density polyethylene because the milk bottle lids seem to flex more. So there's pink and blue milk bottle lids right in here, and they create a cool pattern. Not much in the bottom, but I just left it like this. I did sort of overheat it, but I'll figure that out. That's all a part of learning. Now, one thing you're going to want to know is that high density polyethylene has a tendency to contract back and wrinkle up when it starts to cool down. So if you're planning of using a mold or something like that, I would suggest using a some type of sheet to use, you know, and make a sheet material and sort of press it down like the art of weapons. Now this low density polyethylene seemed to be easier to work with and melt, so I think this would work a little bit better if you had an injection mold, an extruder, but for now I just have this and I'm getting it warmed up. So let's get on to the melting. First I'm going to melt this down and show how it melts. So right here I have the toaster oven set and warmed up. It just needs to take a little while to preheat. Make sure you get it in there, it's not touching the sides or anything. And as you can see, if I move this over carefully, it is not quite yet on the right temperature. For high density polyethylene, you're going to want to go at 350 or I would say, you know, 180 Celsius. I have Celsius and Fahrenheit. For low density, you're going to want to go a little bit lower than 120. So I had it set there, but I'm going to heat it up more to this spot, and then we're going to have this melt down. Now I'm not going to do a time lapse since those are overdone. Those are sort of not as good, especially on this camera. So not going to do time lapse, but I will show the semi-end product. So I don't know if you can see this, but well, if you can see it, it is starting to turn clear, and that's sort of how you tell that this white plastic is melting, is when it's turning clear. And when you have it melted, it'll be like completely clear. Sort of looks like that liquid glass putty stuff that they have on all those VAT19 YouTube videos. Let's get in here. Now you can see, I'm trying not to touch this glass here because it's pretty hot. But now you can see it's mostly clear, and an important thing to know is well, you're gonna have to have patience because this takes hours to fully go, and you know, and then you fold it over, then you put it back in. So I think I'm going to show off folding it over, and then I think we're going to finish up with this part and then move on to the bottle caps, where I'm going to do a red, green, blue pattern, and I'm going to melt them down and have hopefully a really cool pattern. See, that's the thing with these videos, I don't know how it's going to go, so I hope it'll look cool. I hope it turns out good. Now, a good tip I would tell you, let me get this all moved out of the way. A good tip is put your gloves in a cooler or freezer, so that when you do bring this out, and look how cool this looks. Oh man, it's touching the bottle caps. So when you do bring your gloves out and fold over the plastic, you're not going to risk the glove's overheating. So I'm going to mash this, and notice how it sort of goes back when I mash it. That is what makes this plastic harder to work with. So you sort of flatten it down, and there are a lot of bubbles in it, which is not good. It just sort of happened when I was trying to fold it. Let me see if I can get the folding in the camera. It does come to a point where you can see it's turning back, and it's not as moldable. Wow, that's the first time I got my glove ever stuck to the plastic. I wonder if it'll mess this up. I hope not. Then it gets you a taco shape. We're gonna start melting down the bottle caps now. Let's go with a nice red, and I like to usually do them one or two at a time when I put them in, and this takes quite a while to melt too. So that's sort of why I wasn't gonna bother with that. But usually you'd want to put it into a press type mold and put it. But this contracts a little bit less, and this is going to be a little bit easier, and you're going to find a lot more colors easier. If you did, however, want some red high density polyethylene, you could tear apart some gas bottles, because I think these are things that I really should not keep the gas close here. But you could do that, but I'd suggest just buy the pellets if you really want to, because I mean, come on, tearing up a gas thing just takes too much time. So I'm gonna put a green cap on top of this to make the red, green, blue pattern, and really make sure you got these caps cleaned out, because there's still some dried milk on the very edge here, and it doesn't look very nice when that's on the outside of your melted plastic. But it's very important to make sure it's all melted down and sort of in a puddle, so you decrease the number of bubbles you will have inside the actual plastic, and keep the heat a little bit lower. This back in. And let's heat again. So it's really not much more I could do except for like a time lapse, but I'm not just gonna draw out the video with a time lapse. Besides, I don't even have any good movie for a time lapse, so I'm just gonna get these caps probably finished up, and we can move on to the folding phase. This does take a while. I would say about 20 minutes per cap, maybe a little bit longer, maybe a little bit shorter, I don't know. I just basically watch YouTube videos while I'm waiting for it to melt. So might as well, hey, let's say I give you a tour of the garage. We're keeping things in storage now, you know, just great lights, and I'd say CFL's better because this one is not CFL, it's more yellow, it gets hotter. I got some super edgy razor blades, some edgy pliers for pulling people's teeth out, just an assortment of tools that I can use on hand, my parchment paper hammer, and then this is what I use to fold over. Let's get this paper out of the way. I fold over with that, and I pop bubbles and do other stuff with this. And back here is sort of where I'm storing stuff, and it's not very convenient because you can really lose stuff back here. I got my caps. I'm like out of every other color except for blue. And then I got this. This is probably one of the most important steps. Is I would suggest get a shredder or something like that and shred up milk bottles and other stuff. If you want to do the high density polyethylene, I would suggest that. Otherwise, just take your time and collect some milk bottle caps. But I would really say I think fine shredding it is better, and I'm going for a marbled look. That awkward moment when you run out of green and you need it for the pattern. As you can see, we got a very beautiful puddle right here. Unfortunately, it's got some bubbles in it, and that's sort of what I wanted to get out. I really wish that didn't have to be that way, but I think this has no other options because it goes 200 to 250, which, you know, I'm trying to get in that 105 Celsius range, and so you have 95 Celsius to 120 Celsius. So I need to get probably 105, otherwise I'm going to overheat it and put bubbles in it like that. So that's sort of annoying. But I'm gonna start pulling it over now. So I would recommend chilling your gloves before you do this, so your gloves. See if I can't get it not to stick. So when it twists, it's gonna put nice pattern into it. Man, trying to keep it on camera is pretty hard. And it's getting pretty hot. I think it's gonna transfer through too fast. So I'll let that melt down for a little while and do another puddle, then you go again and again, and then it you know, it should end up looking pretty cool. Well, here I have it underneath this thing, this weight contraption I've set up to keep it all pressed and everything like that. I think it's hardened up. It's just 10 pounds. And then this wooden box I had from like shop class. Now, I wanted it to look a little bit nicer. Let me see if I can get a better, closer shot of this without this. Look at this. Let me be all professional here. Alright guys, can you see it really clearly? When you forget to turn on the other light. Wow. So, as you can see, I worked with it a little bit too much. It is still hot. But not hot enough to stick to my skin, which is good enough because that was pretty stupid. It's not stuck to the parchment paper. Let's see if we can flip this over one-handed. Okay, right here, it is very uneven. But this is how it turned out. I wish I could hold it up to the camera to get better light and everything like that. That's the underside, and the camera really emphasizes the greens and everything and like that, and it looks a little bit better this way on camera, because right here this just looks like an ugly this grayish brown. Plus this, I worked with it way too much because, you know, it's too mixed up. I might do something like this a little bit less, mixing it up next time. You know, I might actually get something built to press plastic, and I'm gonna maybe make a high density polyethylene sheet with, of course, a tin like this, something that still fits in there but is as big as possible, so I could fit a lot in there. And then I could have something like this that I press into, I don't know, because I don't have anything made up for pressing into this, and I couldn't get enough plastic into there. So that's about all for now. So thanks for watching my video, and sorry if I look crazy. It's really hot out here in the garage because it's been hot outside. Plus the fact that I just have a you know, toaster oven on 200 degrees, maybe, you know, like 180 degrees Celsius, 200 degrees Fahrenheit, you know, no big deal. I just have that sitting right in front of me while I'm waiting for it to melt for I don't know how much time. I probably shouldn't, I should probably censor my shirt since it's got product placement on it, and I don't hold the rights to those copyrights, and those are not my sponsors. So I just want to say, not a sponsor either. Not a sponsor. Not a sponsor. Not a sponsor. Not a sponsor. Let me point out everything else here. Some razor blades. Not a sponsor. Definitely not a sponsor. Some carpenter knife blades. Not a sponsor. Off-brand hacksaw that's rusty, not a sponsor. All these lights, not a sponsor. So, as always, goodbye.